Hello and welcome to Smart Systems. We are delighted that you could join us today. We realize that rarely, if ever, do you have a full hour to spare in the middle of your workday, so knowing your time is extremely valuable, we'll try to provide you with as much quality information as possible in a concentrated form. What we'll have today is a 20-minute presentation followed by a 10-minute Q&A session. We will keep the microphones muted for everyone throughout the webinar to avoid any auditory disruptions, and if during the Q&A you would like to verbally ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you, and you are also welcome to use the chat function at any time throughout this event. In fact, we'll begin the Q&A by answering any questions that will have accumulated in the chat. Our topic today is general best practices. We will focus on several key areas of the smart software, which coincidentally are also key areas of your business. Please keep in mind this is a general information session. We do welcome one-on-one interaction if you'd like us to help you explore further outside of the webinar. And before you ask, yes, it is our full intention to feature these and other areas in much more detail in later webinars. This is to be a weekly event. We will host an online session like this every Wednesday at this time. You will receive a separate invitation each week, and we also plan to have in-person sessions at the Clean Show in Atlanta. Please note that this meeting is being recorded so we can continue to improve our quality of service. Lastly, in the spirit of continually improving our service, we are most certainly open to feedback and suggestions. Please feel free to send us your thoughts on what we can do better or just differently during these events to art.b@smartsystems.com. That's art.b@smrtsystems.com. With all that said, it's my pleasure to introduce my colleagues. Parker Durink is our marketing director here at Smart, has been instrumental in creating these webinar series, and you'll hear more from Parker on her principal area of expertise once we dive more into marketing in later webinars. Our expert and principal speaker today is Chris Ellis, who has been with Smart for about 3 years. In that time, he has managed technical support and has also been involved in customer success, most recently sales. And today, we're lucky to have him lead our session. Please welcome Chris.
Hey, everyone. Some of you already may know me from talking to me a lot in support. Some of you probably haven't spoken to me yet, but you probably will eventually. Today, I do want to go over just a few brief topics, starting with routes, SMS text messaging, and a little bit about reporting, and just some of what we think are the best practices for you guys to consider when you guys are configuring, going over, or creating different aspects or using different aspects of the system. So today I'm going to start with routes and just talk about some general best practices. And then if you guys have questions throughout the process or throughout me talking, go ahead and drop them into the chat and I will try to respond to as many as possible. And then we'll review some of those during the Q&A session afterwards. All right, so right now, just to talk a little bit briefly about route and configuration of routes, is the best practice for using routes and designing routes is going to be making sure you understand what your client base needs in order for your routes to run properly. So the first thing is identify what type of route you need, right? So we either need to identify whether our routes will be based off day, based off of region, based off of driver, and then that will help us customize and navigate how we run our routes efficiently. In Smart, we do have a few things that will help optimize it, but the first best practice is to identify how you want to run the route. Because if you're running the route with too many variables, then you probably won't get the best output when it comes to routes. Configuring and setting up a route isn't too crazy in Smart itself. So just come in, you kind of create these things, and depending on what you need it for, whether it be driver, and if you're going to do it based off driver, you might want to use that as the route main. If it's by day, you want to separate customers based off of day and time. And then if it's other variables such as just geographic location and things like that, that could also be, I go to a specific area on Monday, a specific area on Tuesday, and so forth, and where it runs from, right? That could change depending on the geographic location. The next thing I want to talk about with routes is just customer behavior, right? So we also need to understand the difference between a route regular, regular by appointment, and just those different variables of what our customers can be. It's not optimal to have most of your customers on route regular, especially if they're not a route regular service. So you'll see here, route regulars, doesn't matter whether or not the customer has nothing to pick up or not. If they're route regular, it's going to show on your manifest. So anyone that has erratic behavior or doesn't actually use the route frequently, we would like to set them to something like will call, just because you have more control over what you do and where you go and when you go. And then that's just another thing to consider when you guys are talking about who belongs on what route and how to really get those customers set up. So we also want to make sure that we identify our customers in the right bucket or group of people in order to assure optimal performance for the route optimization. The difference in the route optimization and then just fixed routes is our system will optimize the route based off what we think or what the system thinks is the best optimal and the least amount of time, right? So everything in SMART is all about saving time. So when we optimize routes, it's about saving time. So I know a lot of you probably know the city, whatever city you're from, like the back of your hand. But sometimes, because it optimizes daily, traffic could be bad one day, it could not be bad the next day. So it just gives you the best possible output for routes altogether as a whole. And that's just something to be mindful of when you guys are determining whether or not you want to manually do it yourself or let the system run it yourself. And let's also not forget that optimization is something that you can turn on and off at any point. You can turn optimization on to get like a template, so to speak, of your customer layout. And then you can turn it off and make adjustments to that layout afterwards. But it's just a quick note of things that you should probably know or be able to do without too much trouble. Another thing about route is routes have a lot of settings and configurations. It's all about what you want, not about what you don't want, right? So routes for the system, you need to tell us what you actually want it to do and not necessarily what you don't want it to do. And with that being said, I'll go into a little bit about the text messaging system and how it correlates to the routes. So routes can do a various amount of things. Here are some of the route text messaging features. So offer cancellations, what to remind customers about, who receives pickup reminders, and do we send delivery completion text messages, that kind of thing, and what time of day those text messages are sent out on, right? So if you want, you can change this from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. or from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. It just depends on your business needs. So the first thing, offering cancellation, it's either a yes or no, right? Do we offer it or do we not offer it? Same thing with what reminders to send. Delivery and pickup reminders are only pickup reminders, right? Most customers, from my experience, only use the pickup only reminders, not really necessarily delivery reminders, but either setting works as long as you get responses from your customers. And these are generally for the route regulars. This pickup reminders for customers inactive for more than 2 months. Some customers don't want to bother customers who went inactive and haven't used the routes, but in some cases you might want to still send out to customers who were inactive. Maybe it'll prompt them to start using the routes again, maybe it won't. And then just the delivery completion text messages. Those text messages are just, again, text messages that say, hey, we finished this stop. If you have any questions, contact the store, right? And even more so into a general scope of messaging and text messaging. All of our text messages are triggered by something within SMART, right? And to go into that, all SMART orders are triggered by the ready status, right? So no customer would receive an order ready text message notification if all the orders with the same due date aren't ready. In this situation here, we have 2 orders. both due on the 5th. If this order was never marked as ready, then it won't prompt for that ready message to go out to the customer, which will leave this bag in a ready status and the customer wouldn't know to come pick this up. So these are just quick notes to remember when you guys are looking at things like this. If they don't have different due dates, then it won't trigger multiple order ready notifications. It's going to wait until the last bag with the same due date is ready to send out those messages. Another thing is all these messages now in Smart are customizable. So when you go into the settings and business settings and communication templates, all those auto messages that we send out, all of these payment receipts, credit cards, you'll notice it'll tell you the type of notification it will be. So this is emails only, this is mobile. And then you'll be able to make adjustments to those messages to basically say anything that you like. We're in your area tomorrow, but you can easily change this to something else that's more in line with your company and what your company needs. Besides that, all these adjustable text messages are very customizable now. And if you do need assistance with just how to configure these or how to get these out and what triggers what, that'll be more, we'll go into more details about what triggers these in our next route session. Just a general overview right now. And then besides the messages, if we want to talk directly into reporting and what goes into reporting, we, like many of you know, we do a lot of custom KPIs, and even with our custom text messages, we can track that also. So we have this new customer contacts KPI setting, and this new setting allows us to track messages based off of the date, the type of message, the direction of the message, the from number, the to number, and the notification type, and the staff who sent it. So if you ever want to look into those that message report, you just let us know. We'll take a look at that with you guys. But and while we're inside of the report subject, the key reports I think many of you like to talk about, or many of you need help understanding, would be sales. And I'll explain a little bit about the differences in these reports. Everything in this incoming sales section is based off of the incoming pieces or the incoming date, which would basically be the detailed date. So like today, I have this set for May, but I'm just going to set it for today, maybe yesterday. And anything that came in on or that was detailed yesterday would show here. I don't have anything because it's just a test site. We do last month. But so everything in this bucket right now is set that was detailed in that time frame. If it wasn't detailed in that time frame, it will not show in this incoming sales report. So if you, just a note, if you have a bunch of undetailed orders just lingering or sitting quietly, and they've never been detailed, but you detailed them the date after. So if you did them on the 1st instead of the 31st, then they won't show on this report until you change the date range. Same thing with incoming pieces, is also based off of incoming detail. So detail date, these two reports share the same date time. So you should always think about what's the date range, right? When these items were detailed will give you the most accurate number that you're looking for. Outgoing sales is anything that was picked up or returned to the customer. Picked up being it could have been delivered, it could have been picked up out of the system by an employee, but whatever that date was, is the date that this report is based off of. So outgoing sales is everything that was sent out to the customer returned, and it's going to show you the total value of what was sent out, not necessarily what was paid. Now, paid sales is just a report that shows you everything that was paid out. Now, paid sales and revenue are not to be mixed up or confused. Paid sales includes everything, cash, checks, credits, credit cards, everything like that. So credits are included in paid sales, which is why this is not an accurate revenue number. Anytime you want to actually check revenue to see what you've earned cash value, it's going to be in this revenue report. And this is where you see actual money earned. Actual money earned being checks, cash, credit cards, right? credits that you create out of thin air won't be considered as money earned, but prepayments and checks, credit cards, and cash should all show into this revenue report. Revenue reports should also always match your deposit report. So whatever you have within your revenue should match deposits, and then deposits should match your merchant processor, and so on and so on. So you should always be able to reconcile using these two reports. Outside of deposits, credit reports track a lot of the credits, prepayments, credit notes, those sorts of things. So you'll see gift card credits, prepayments, credit note will be another one. So gift card credit, obviously it just comes from gift cards. Prepayments are any payments made before the order was in a ready status. And that's what SMART considers a prepayment. So you'll see some of these show up as deposits on an account. And if it shows up as a deposit on the account, then it has been prepaid. That just means that the payment was taken before the order was ready, triggering the prepayment process. Sometimes you'll see a column here for credit note. And on the credit note column, you'll see those are credits added by either yourself or an employee or someone else in the company. So that's credits. After credits, you'll see claims, and then you'll see refunds. So claims and refunds are slightly different. They both give money back to the customer, but claims, when you pay a claim on an order, this claim will refund the customer, but it will still leave the order in a paid status and it does not go back to the customer for responsibility. Whereas a refund, if you refund this, if you refund the payment, then that payment for that order, and that's the general. And if you guys have questions, I think it's time to start accepting questions. So I'm all ears.
Thank you for this, Chris, and thank you for submitting your questions in the chat function. Chris, would you like me to read those questions to you, or is it easier for you to go through the chat on your own?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead and pull a few of them out, and we'll start talking about.
Okay, very good. So the first question was, can you assign different routes to separate drivers?
Right. So when you practice routes and you're practicing giving specific drivers routes, what the best practice for that would be is to create the route under the driver's name, and then that way it's easy to track and it's easy to manage, and then that driver will always know what their route is. So it's very simple. It's not too bad, but it's definitely possible to do.
Chris, what is the purpose of the route manager?
So the purpose of the route manager is to basically fix your routes the way you want them to go. So to put people in the correct order, correct stop numbers, and to arrange them the way you need them to be. It also, the route manager is if you are using the online website and someone submits a route request, and that route request is then shown in the route manager, and you can place that person into whichever route you want them to be associated with.
For pickup and delivery text reminders, if the order or one item in the order is not ready, customers are not receiving the reminder the day before. How can that be fixed?
So it depends on the route status, right? So if you're a will call customer and you have an order in the system and half that order is ready and the other half is not ready, then it won't trigger a new pickup request because the expectation for a will call customer is to submit a request when they need something. But if the system already assumes that you're going because there's already a stop configured, then it's no need for one. If you would like for those requests to still go out, even if the customer, let's say the order's not ready, it won't be ready for the next few days, but you still want them to get the route reminders, then we probably need to set them up under a different configuration.
Can we create a custom message when laundry is delivered?
Yeah, so we do have, so that text message for delivery complete, or if order complete notifications, you can, in those custom text message templates, you can change that message to whatever you like it to be, but those automatic messages can be turned on and they can go out.
If someone requests a pickup after the cutoff time for that day, what message is sent to customer?
So the customer gets a message back that says your request has been submitted to the store or the cleaners, and then it's up to the cleaners to identify whether or not to push them to tomorrow or to get them added to the route.
Request to show how to provide customer with a gift card. Not sure if you want to reshare your screen for that.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Art?
How to provide a customer with a gift card.
Yeah, so in Smart, let's see if this is set up for this already. So you can order your own barcode. I mean, you can order your own gift cards with whatever barcodes, the 128 barcodes. As long as it has a barcode on it, we can use it. But when you're doing gift cards in Smart, anytime you do a gift card in Smart, it's like a retail item. You go, you create a new order. And when you create that new order, you'll have a retail category. In that retail category, you'll see the option for gift card. Of course, this one isn't set up for it, so I can't show you right this second, but you'll create a retail item called gift card, which should already be in your price list. In that price list, when you create the order, it'll be under this retail category. And all you have to do is scan the barcode, given an amount, and then next time they come in, you just run the transaction and swipe the gift card just like you would do normally with a credit card transaction.
Of course, while you're sharing the screen, can you also show us how to add a tax exemption to a customer?
Yeah, so in the customer profile is where you'll do anything like that. So you'll click on the customer name in the top left corner of the screen. You'll see this admin tab, but you have to be a store manager above to actually have access to this. And then right on that account, you'll see where it says tax exempt, and you can toggle this on and off whenever needed.
There's a request to reiterate the part of your presentation about the refund and what a refund is. The audio cut out on that. Would you mind repeating that part about the refund?
So with the refund process, you'll see refund, and then you'll see something called pay a claim. Anytime you pay a claim, the claim can be refunded to the customer, and this order will still be in a paid status, right? And it doesn't affect the customer's account. They don't have to come in, they don't have to retry their card or anything like that. But if we do a refund, when we refund the customer, we give that customer the money back, but we also still say that this order is still due for payment, and it's still going to leave this payment available and ready to be paid on the customer account versus a claim, which will still keep the order in a paid status so the customer doesn't owe or it won't be charged again.
There are times when a route customer will opt in after the driver has started, and that action will change the driver's route midway. How can that be avoided?
So in the route settings, if you go into settings and then into the route, whatever route it is, you can do it for all routes or just one route. They have some pickup grace times and delivery grace times. If you set this time will give you a cutoff 4 hours before the route starts or 4 hours after the route starts, right? Then that will determine whether or not people can get added to that route while it's already running. So you just have to set whatever your time limits are. And then our next webinar, when we go over routes, this will be in more detail and we'll go a little bit more in depth into how to use these, but you just want to set what your delivery and pickup grace times are. So that way you can cut off customers from being able to select or get put on any route while the route is running.
We have time for a few more. Can you split routes up based on how many drivers are available that day?
So what I suggest, anytime you have like a route and you need multiple drivers to run that route, you would have both of them, if you guys are using the Smart mobile app, you would have both of them log into the app from different phones, and then you would have someone start at the top of that route, and then someone start at the bottom of that route, and they kind of meet up in the middle. And then that way, those orders are also being removed from the system as the route is running. So that way, no one duplicates or try to go to the same customer stop.
Here's a request to demonstrate a geofence to show only the area that you'd like to allow pickup and delivery in.
So Smart doesn't have a Geo-Fence feature specifically. What Smart has is, let me turn this on really quick for you. So we have this on-demand feature. And what it does is you could drop pins on a map. And basically these pins will be in a location. And if customers are within this location of this pin, if it's the closest pin to the customer and they want to request to be put on a route and you just allow people to jump on routes, it will put them on the closest pin to their location.
Does the driver have the ability to optimize through the mobile app?
No, the optimization will have to happen at the store or at a POS, and so if you're at the delivery and you're optimizing the route, you can optimize it from the delivery screen, or if you don't want to have to do it from the POS, what you can do is turn on the setting for optimization. Once you enable optimization, you'll see another option to always auto optimize as route occurs additional stops, or to not, right? And then that way, if this is turned on, you don't have to do anything.
How does one change the delivery messages and delivery dates for holidays? On Monday holidays, we need to either let the customers know we're not doing it, and sometimes the date is pushed to Tuesday, and the driver cannot seem to be able to deliver Monday routes on Tuesday the way it's set up. This may be a settings issue, but if you could specifically go into the holiday settings and holiday messages.
Yeah, so we don't send out any specific holiday messages when holidays come up through Smart in bulk. That's something that we can do outside of Smart, but we can help create that. That's just something that you guys will have to go through support to do. But what you want to do typically is if there's a holiday set, the system will automatically move those people to the next available delivery date on their route. So for example, if this route is a Monday, Thursday, Friday route, and let's say Monday was a holiday, it would move those people from Monday to Thursday. But let's say we want everyone that's on the Monday, Thursday route to actually be delivered on Tuesday, we would have to come in and make this Tuesday option selectable. So that way the system pushes everyone to that Tuesday instead of that Thursday.
We have time for one more, and that final question is reading messages in Smart on your phone, presumably within the mobile app. Can you review and reply back to those messages from the phone?
Yeah, so what's happening now is we just released a feature for messaging in the app. And we still have our dev team working on how to reply to you customers in the phone, but it's not something that's impossible. It's just not something that's available at the moment.
Great. Very good. Thank you, Chris.
No
And
worries.
we have just reached our timeline here. So thank you, everybody, for attending this first webinar. Thank you for bearing with us through a few minor technical issues, which we promised to resolve. As we go forward, we are looking forward to seeing you at future webinars. Invitations are forthcoming. If we did not get an opportunity to answer your particular question in the course of this Q&A, we will do our best to reach out to you and get the questions answered. That's our hope, is to make sure that we answer as many of those as we can. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Take care.